Hi, I'm Jessica Ashley, and welcome to another edition of Single Mom Nation, where we bring together women to talk about life after divorce, single parenthood, being amazing and fabulous. And so, here today, a natural extension of that is Ruthe Ponturo, a woman who has taken a divorce and turned it into a musical. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ruth. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks. Nice to be here.
Ruth, you did something really exciting. Your musical Till Divorce Do Us Part opened last night. Tell me a little bit about this musical and how you took sort of a vulnerable time and, as you say, went from sad to mad to glad.
Well, my husband left me, but I had always worked in the theater and around music. I had never written a song, but when he left, for some reason, first of all, I just was so determined not to let him ruin my life or steal my spirit, my positive attitude, which I've always been lucky to have. So I just started hearing songs in my head. I literally was standing in the shower and I heard it's a bitter pill to swallow. You don't love me anymore, and that is literally how this show started. And I was, going along with it and I would laugh, and it would make me giggle. I thought that's so silly, and then I just started thinking of other lyrics and I started writing them down. And I had a pad of paper by my bed. And when you're first separated, well, for me anyway, I couldn't make myself go to bed early. It just I don't know, it just felt like that was the worst thing. So I would watch late night TV, and I'm a very popular. I love NCIS and Law and Order, and there's a song about that in the show about my new boyfriends. So anyway, I had was taking piano lessons at the time from a guy who I had worked with before in a workshop for a musical theater thing, and I just said he was a composer, and I said, "Would you like to collaborate with me? Because I'm not a musician, so I could write the words, but I couldn't write the music." And we have just had the best time. That started about almost 3 years ago, and we have sat at the piano, which is behind me here, and just laughed and laughed and laughed. And it was the best therapy ever. I mean, truly it was. And every situation that I was in, I thought, well, how could I have not seen certain signs? And so that turned into a song called Denial. And there's, oh gosh, The Other Woman. So that's a song called The Other Woman. And there's one about just the logistics of getting a divorce. There's accountants, and you have to sign this and sign that, and sometimes you just think the paperwork is gonna sink you. I mean, and there's a song about that too. And so there's all kinds of songs, and there's a song about your best girlfriends, the best friend rag. So that's what got me through was, and I think a lot of women are probably like that, and that um, they really depend on their friends to help them through these
Yes,
bad things.
absolutely. You need that, right? Because these can be your darkest days, and you need people to remind you you are still who you are. Do you think that's true?
Exactly. That's why I was really determined is to, like I said, I didn't want that to make me into a bitter, sad person, even though I was sad about it because I was married for 34 years. That's a long time, and I was married longer than I was not married before I was married, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And that's a long time. And I had had a great marriage. I hadn't had just a so so marriage. And he was my best friend. So that was really a devastating loss. But I was like, I don't care. I have other good friends. I'm going to, So anyway, that's how it all started. And then it just steamrolled from there. And we did a cabaret production of the show last year, um, which I was in. And then this year, when we got a bigger production going, I needed to be able to sit outside and look at the production, and I choreographed it. And we got a new director and a wonderful director, and it opened, and it's been fabulous. And now we need people to come see it.
I'm sure that in putting out your lyrics, your own experiences, you've written pretty honestly about what led you to create this musical, that it has encouraged other women to approach you and tell you their own stories. Tell me a
They
little
have
bit
told me.
tell me a little bit about
Oh,
what women have told you and about what they've said this sitting in the audience has done for them in terms of dealing with their own stuff.
well, we've had such great gals come up to us afterwards. And one thing that I've heard a lot is that this show allows you to laugh at what you're either going through or what you've gone through. And it makes you feel good about yourself. And there's a line in one of the songs that you had a great life before him, so your heart and your life will restart. And if you think that you you didn't know him your entire life, I guess there are people who do, but anyway, so that your life will start again without him around. And there have been women who've come up. One gal came up and said that she had found her some panties that weren't hers in her bed. And I went, really? That is so low.
Cliche, like try a little harder,
Well, the thing about cliches is that the reason they're cliches is because they really happen,
right?
because my husband actually said to me that he still loved me, but he wasn't in love with me
Oh
anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah, I heard
even
that
when
one.
even when he said it to me, I'm thinking, really? That's the best you can come up with? Such a cliche. But and then there have been younger women who've come to the show, and I talked to one just a couple days ago that she was maybe in her early 30s and was already divorced, and she said, "Oh, I've gone through every single one of the situations in the show and the emotions that." And the second part of the show is getting towards the better. The first song is better mad than sad, and the last song is better glad than mad. So that you're going to be fine. So it is very a lively, funny show with a lot of heart, I think.
I feel like I relate to so much of what you've said. I wasn't married as long as you were, but a turning point for me was definitely when a friend told me, your life is bigger than one man. And refocusing then has really helped me have a bigger and happier and healthier life since. And I would have never said that that would be possible. So that was a really great turning point for me. It's connected me to so many more women than I ever anticipated I'd connect with. What do you think? You mentioned thinking up that song in your head in the shower. Was that your turning point? Or was there some other crystallizing moment for you when you just decided, I'm going to do the best that I can through this and have a bigger life?
Well, I we had a divorce attorney, a very well-known divorce attorney, come to the show a few nights ago, and she asked me afterwards what was my tipping point, and I
Mm.
think that's what she meant.
Hmm.
And I thought I really do think it was him leaving, in that I I just was so determined not to. I was going to show him, and I was stubborn enough that was it, man. You're leaving. I'm going to do something really great, and or I'm going to try anyway. And I think starting to work on the show and realizing the day I realized that the show was actually going to happen was
Mm.
whoa. And the other thing is, it's like the day you learn. Now I live in Manhattan, and I never, when I was married, Tony, my husband, drove all the time. I never had driven in Manhattan. I just really didn't want to, and I thought I couldn't do it. And then when he left, I had to drive, and I realized I managed to drive out of Manhattan and back in Manhattan. I went, wow. I figure if I can do that, I can do anything.
And
So
it's
maybe that was my tipping point.
funny how sometimes it's like an everyday moment. It doesn't you're not building a bridge. You know, it can be an everyday moment
Right,
or it can be putting on a big show, but it can come in lots of different packages, right?
right. It's like, so yeah. It's like, yeah, you could get a GPS if you have a bad sense of direction. You don't need a man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that thing. So, all of that said, revenge is the best revenge is success. What do you think in all of this? The best revenge? Do you need revenge? If you do, what is it?
Oh, oh, okay. Well, that there's a saying, living well is the best revenge.
Right.
And I would say that living well is, I don't think I need revenge anymore. I think there will always be a thing, you go, "Ugh, how did he ever even do? Why would he do it? How did he do it? Who knows? It's just whatever." And the other thing, one of the divorce attorneys, the divorce attorney who said about the tipping point, she said was, once you know, you can't unknow
Mm,
something, so you
yeah.
can't go back. So that's it, So I would, I hope that in a few years I'll wish him well, but I'm not maybe quite there yet.
And you know what? Fair enough. That's fair enough. It honestly is. Some of your songs are snarky. You
They
have a very
are.
positive outlook, but there's a little snarkiness there. Does that feel kind of
Oh,
good?
I have a slightly wicked sense of humor, and so does my
Yes.
co-writer.
Oh,
Oh
okay. So
yeah.
that's the co-writer's fault, not yours.
Oh no, no, no. I would say we both have it.
Okay. Tell me a little
I
bit
don't think
about.
they're snarky.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what? How would you describe them?
Um, well, sometimes, well, maybe snarky is a good word. No, I would say witty, um, biting at times, but not. I mean, they always have even the other woman song is done with a lot of humor. So I think they all have a basis in humor. So I think you can, if you learn, that's another thing. I firmly believe that you really need to be able to laugh at yourself and at things that happen, because then it's much easier to take.
Otherwise, it's just too hard. Like you said, filling
I
out the
know, right?
paperwork and dividing up things that you
Oh,
never anticipated you divide. All of it is too overwhelming and too hard and
it's so
wounding.
overwhelming. It's icky.
Right.
So
Right.
you just sing a song about it instead.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, for those of us who don't sing or dance, or we're not in New York to see the show tonight, what's your advice to women who are really ready for the second act of their own lives after a breakup or a divorce and need to see the humor and be empowered? What would you tell those women having been through what you've been through?
Well, I would say that really you just have to think to yourself that you are going to be okay. And sometimes I would literally look in the mirror and make myself laugh or make myself smile at myself. I mean, that was as basic as, and you go, I'm going to be okay. This is going to pass. I'm going to be, and I would go make myself go out and do something, like uh, go to the movies or go out, take a walk, or work out, or if you have kids at home or you can't go out, maybe you could turn on an exercise program and just I just think action is, don't just sit there and cry, because that just ruins your mascara.
And I think kind of what you're getting at too is
Don't
being
do that.
present. Yeah, being present in your own life. You kind of have to like yourself. If there's not somebody right there
Yes.
next to you,
Well, I do think you can't always put it on everybody else. You have to like, yeah, you have to like yourself. And maybe that means you have to get your hair cut, or go get your nails done, or eat French fries, whatever, just something that makes you feel good. Read a book, watch Elliot Stabler on Law and Order SVU. That always made me feel good.
I'm not going to pretend like I haven't come up with a list of second husbands from Hollywood. So I'm right there with
Right,
you.
right. He's on my list.
Yeah. So you've gotten yourself this far and you have created this big show. Who are you looking for to play the women in the show? What did they need to be able to embody to get through all of that spirit that you obviously have?
Well, did you just see my cat go by here? He just took a leap. Oh gosh. Okay. Now I can't. He totally messed up my train of thought. What did you ask
Tell me
me?
about the ladies who are in the show. What did they need to embody to get
Oh
across
my
all that
girls.
spirit?
Oh, they're so great. Well, I have. There's three gals in the show, and then there's one guy who is my co-writer, and he plays a character named Dottie. He is a divorce advice columnist, and that's how we thread all the songs together. And because they're letters from women all over the world who write in with problems that they're having going through a divorce, and then he answers the questions and in the songs. So, but my girls, or my young women, I should say, um, one is Dana Wilson, and she is quite captivating and a character. She's sitting right over here. And I've known Dana for years, and she is one thing that they really needed to have was strong voices, because the musical range in the show goes from light opera all the way to rap. So you had to be versatile, and you had to be able to really sing. There's a lot of three-part harmony, so you have to really know your music. um, One of the gals is Erin McGuire, who's playing Kate. Who That was my role before, and she's incredibly versatile and very funny, but just very a warm actress. You really take to her on stage. I think that was a criteria, is that all the women in the show had to be someone that when people are looking at them, they would want to be those people. Um, and then our other, is Gretchen Wilder, is uh, a Spitfire, and they're all very unique. They're not cookie cutter chorus girls that we wanted them all to look alike. They don't, and that's what we wanted.
And so they have that verve that you're looking for and also all of the
Oh,
talent.
they're all very spunky. They needed to have spunk.
Yeah, clearly, clearly. So, Ruth, tell us a little bit. Life does go on after divorce. You can only think about it and talk. I mean, you can talk about it or sing about it for a really long time. But I imagine you have other projects in the work or other big ideas. When this smashing success, what will it lead to next for you?
Oh, well, gosh. Well, my co-writer and I have already started talking about writing something else, and that's one thing that this divorce gave me. Was I had no idea I could write songs, and it's so much fun, and I'm pretty good at it, and I would have never known. So there, and that's something that came out of it that was unexpected. Um, and I will probably uh, choreograph next year. I will probably go back to St. Louis, is where I lived for a long time, and choreograph the musical at the high school that I worked forever, because I love to do it, and so I'll go do it again. And but there's all kinds of projects. I'm very involved in boards here. The Humane Society. uh, I have cats, but I love all animals. So there's always lots to do. Money to be raised for worthy causes.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm excited to see what comes next to you. And in the meantime, the people watching can take a look. You're right down here is your website. So if they'd like to purchase tickets, they can, to follow your good works or just listen to some of the songs and sing them in their own shower in those moments when they need a pick me up. It's all there.
That's
Ruth,
right.
thank you so much.
And bring your girlfriends. Our show's a
It
great
is.
gals night out.
It's a divorced girls' night out.
That's right.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We really wish you all the best. And I'm going to send you some snarky songs I've written along the way.
Okay, I'd love to hear some. Thank you, Jessica.
There's a lot of cuss words. Don't be intimidated.
Well, I have a few in mind, so don't you be.
Thank you, Ruth. And thanks for joining us on
Okay.
Single Mom Nation today. Take good care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.